Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. God, I need a haircut, don't I? I'm going to stay on that straw in it. Anyway, I watched a video. I watched several videos, in fact, but this one was with Dan Raphael on Pro Boxing Fans, I think the channel is called. And one of my recent videos talked about whether CHRIS EUBANK will try to, or will perhaps deliberately come in overweight for the Conor Benn fight and put it on Benn. Using any means necessary, because he does seem extremely bitter about the whole PED thing and the fact that he perceives Benn to have cheated, deliberately cheated, and he dislikes Eddie Hearn because Eddie Hearn is basically Benn's enabler. But Dan Raphael says there's going to be a hefty old fine for Mr. Eubank if he does try those tactics, because according to Dan Raphael, for every single pound that he comes in, that Eubank comes in overweight, it will cost him £500,000 per pound. $500,000, not pounds, dollars per pound. So that's, what is that, like that roughly 400 grand in terms of pound sterling. And as we know, Eubank is definitely a money man. He likes all that Louis Vuitton, designer crap that costs you an arm and a leg and looks just like something you bought out of fucking Primark. He likes all that shite. He's got a McLaren, and to him it's all bling and it's all money. And it's prize fighting. So yeah, okay, go for it. If that's what you want, go for it. But what this does say is probably not wise to come in too many pounds overweight, because it will cost you, well, $1 million for every £2. Now, I'm wondering if Eubank can actually make the weight, or at least make it safely, and retain his retain strength, retain energy, and be able to do the full 12 rounds, as opposed to, just turning up, collecting your money and going home. And because there's no doubt that he really does want to smash up Benn. He's very, very angry about this whole business. Very bitter. And you know what? I don't actually blame him that much. I don't think you can really blame the man, because when you consider that he sold his soul, in a sense. He's made those calculated risks by coming in at a lower weight, agreeing to come in at a lower weight. But having said that, when you think about the first fight, which was going to take place in, what is it now, 2022, is it? I think so, yeah. He agreed to come in at 157, which was unbelievable. And when you saw that selfie he took of himself on the scales weighing 159, do you remember that? This was 4 or 5 days before the scheduled, the first fight, the original scheduling of the fight. He looked absolutely skeletal. And he said during the press conference for this rescheduled contest, he said, the rehydration clause and everything, it is going to take something away from me, but not to the point where I'll lose the fight. That's what he said. So that's going to be kind of nasty for him. It could come back to bite him in the arse. You just don't know. These things are, again, they are calculated risks. And if you are someone like Eubank, who puts money first, or appears to put money first, then at the risk of sounding repetitious, it can come back to bite you in the arse. And we saw, what happened with, I know this is a very different scenario, but we saw what happened with Martin Bakole when he, took the money at the absolute 11th hour. He got flattened by Joseph Parker in 2 rounds. And, Parker may well have beaten Bakole even if he'd had a proper camp. But is anyone stupid enough to believe that Martin Bakole would have turned up if he'd had a proper camp, instead of, less than 48 hours notice, jumping on a plane, arriving the the morning of the fight, barely getting any sleep, being jet lagged, going to the ring, in a wearing Daniel Dubois gloves and all this. I mean, this wasn't really a calculated gamble. This was just a case of I'm going to take the money and run. When you get to the top echelons of boxing, the margin of error is so slight that it really is. Is it worth it? Especially if this is a genuine grudge match. And I think the idea for Eubank of losing to Benn is going to be so unbearable to him. It's going to be so much of a pride thing, an ego thing. And let's not kid ourselves. I mean, Eubank Jr. definitely has a massive ego. You've got to ask yourself, well, is he making too many concessions here? Is he putting too much emphasis on money? I don't know. $500,000 per pound, though, that is some serious money. And even if he genuinely can't make the weight, it's going to cost him. He's going to have to skip it off, and he's running the risk of coming in very, very, very weight drained. Because don't forget, he was a super middleweight for a few years. Fought George Groves and lost to him. Had a few fights. He was in the World Boxing Super Series, super middleweight tournament. Mid-30s now, isn't he? So it's more difficult to take off weight. Yeah, I think he's playing with fire here. It's not to say he can't win, but I would definitely say that the moment you start prioritising money, when you consider how slight the margin of the differences are between winning and losing at that level, and okay, I accept Conor Benn is a welterweight, and he's I don't think he's world class. I don't think he's a world class welterweight. But at the same time, the margin of error is so slight that I've got a feeling this could come back to bite Eubank. But we'll see. We will see. All right then, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your time. As always, leave your comments below if you've got any. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the like button and spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. Go on, it makes sense. You know you want to. All right, I'm looking forward to reading what you've got to say. Let me know your thoughts, and bye for now.